Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and the exciting thing about this morning is that there is genuine movement in relation to transfers involving centre-backs, involving Sergio Ramos and involving Rafael Varane, that we don't have to take from people like the Manchester Evening News or the BBC, because it's all happening in Spain. The big fallout in Spain is obviously because Sergio Ramos is officially leaving Real Madrid. He's actually doing a farewell press conference today around midday UK time, which relevance to us may or may not be, but the ramifications of Ramos, the Ramosifications of Ramos leaving Real Madrid, is that it will impact on the centre-back transfer market, and obviously we know Manchester United are in the centre-back transfer market. I'll give you the updates what are coming from Spain. There's quite a few involving Varane, and there were some mixed stories last night. There are some very good Real Madrid outlets out there on social media, and they're very good at breaking down how reliable the sources are. Well, Romano broke that Ramos was leaving. Then there was a story coming out from a Spanish outlet that meant Varane was going to stay, and it was coming from a very reliable source. Then another very reliable source says that does not mean that Varane is going to stay. He's still looking to leave, and he's got offers on the table from Manchester United and PSG. However, it might escalate Real Madrid's offer that they make to Varane to try and make him stay, having lost Ramos. So there are Ramosifications, as we're going to call it, in relation to Ramos leaving Real Madrid. But Ramos is definitely leaving Real Madrid, and has also been linked with a move to Manchester United. And of course, if Ramos and Varane leave Real Madrid and neither comes to Manchester United, Real Madrid will need a centre-back, which could be Koundé or Torres, which, so it could be good. This could be good for United, it could be bad for United. And this is why, if you are Bayern Munich, who's already got Upamecano, if you are Liverpool, who've already got Konate, if you're Real Madrid, who's already got Alaba, and whatever other centre-backs have already moved, United are in this centre-back transfer market. But the snooze you lose thing, as I said before, there was an interesting article from Duncan Castles today calling Glazer's political in relation to this transfer market, which I haven't read yet because that headline just got me thinking. And I think that United have approached this transfer market, as they always do, undecided. And in a very fast-moving centre-back market, that is not necessarily a good thing. A lot of targets that we could have gone for have already gone. And now, slim pickings could leave us with really, really low priority centre-backs being our signing. So let's look at that. No planning, says Advath. United will get Ben White in the end, says Nasra. Well, that's got to be the concern, Nasra. That has to be the concern. So let's break this down. Sergio Ramos is leaving Real Madrid. He is leaving Real Madrid. Doesn't want to leave Real Madrid, but he's leaving Real Madrid because they've not offered him what he wanted. So Real Madrid, Sergio Ramos, they are parting ways. This is official. Mull says, have you ever thought about us getting Zidane in and then moving Oli to director of football? Feel like that he would be perfect. Mull, why would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be a good director of football? Can I just ask anybody why? And I'm sorry to stop mid-sentence here, but why is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a good director of football? Because you like him. You're just giving him a job because you like him. What evidence have you got that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a good director of football? Apparently, Wan-Bissaka's not what we want now. He's not performing in the way we wanted him to. Did we not scout Wan-Bissaka for a year before? Did we not realise everything that Wan-Bissaka is weak at? He was weak at Palace. Have we not coached him to be better? Dan James, apparently he's not good enough anymore because he can't, he's not really good on the build-up play. He's just a fast player. Oh, did we not scout him? Oh, Donny van der Beek's not a good fit. Did we not scout him at Ajax? So, you know what? Director of football, he's either good enough to be our manager or you sack him. I've always said that. I'm not finding jobs for nice people at Manchester United. I'm not bothered about nice people at Manchester United. We've got players who've shown that they're not nice. We've got legends who've shown that they're not nice people off the pitch. Don't care. Not going to the Toby Carvery for a Sunday lunch with you. I just wanted you to win trophies at United, which you did. Ruthless excellence is what United need. Not finding jobs for nice people who you really want to sack. Ben White will go to Arsenal, says it all, says Steve Locke. Good, I hope he does. But look, Ramos leaving Real Madrid and Manchester United, PSG, Man City are the three clubs that have been linked to him. Sevilla was one of those clubs, but Romano has said that's not going to happen. This will be a money move. Now, as I said, there was a story. We know that United like Varane. And there was this story that with Ramos leaving, Varane is staying at Madrid. That might happen, but they're also saying that might not happen because Varane still might want to go and Madrid will want some money. I personally think, and this is just a prediction, you've got to work through how this is going to work. The worst case scenario is that Ramos is going to go to Man City. And if he goes to Man City, then I think Varane goes to PSG. Then I think Real Madrid will get Koundé or Torres or both, and I think United will be left with, or Chelsea will get the other one, and United will end up with nothing. That's the worst case scenario. If Ramos goes to PSG and Varane moves, then I think United might have a chance of getting him. So there's lots of permutations, but United have got to be on the ball right now. They cannot wait. They cannot say to Pau Torres, "We'll have a chat at the end of the Euros." They cannot say to Koundé, "We'll have a chat at the end of the Euros," because this is going to move really quick. Real Madrid will want to do something really quick. If they lose Ramos and they lose Varane, they've got to do something really quick. And I think that will be a Pau Torres or a Koundé, which if we're not getting Varane, leaves us in big, big trouble. Sven Botman is another choice, I suppose, as well. But this is going to move quick, and this is what worries me. I think United are not moving quick in this transfer market. I agree with that headline I saw this morning that Glazers are playing politics with the transfer market. And I think they are playing politics. Until I'm proven wrong, I think they are using this transfer window as a political vehicle to manipulate the polls and make them popular. If you think about this as an election campaign, at the end of the season, the Glazers had never been so disliked by this Manchester United fan base. Their popularity rating was low. Proper low, because we had people protesting, we had people going mad, the Glazers were really scared. What's happened in the month since then? Nothing. We lost the Europa League final. The Glazers are still the 16 years Glazers they've always been, and we've signed and sold nobody. But what they've done is there's this political manoeuvrement, I think, in the transfer market to make people believe that we're in for players, to build up the hype. Oh, we're in for Varane. We're negotiating with Sancho. We're after Trippier. We want a centre defensive midfielder. We're going to sell all these players. But what's actually happened? Well, the popularity of the Glazers is rising. You may not like the Glazers, but it's not as low as it was. The frustration's not there. It's starting to rise. Why is it starting to rise? Nothing's happened in the transfer market. There is no there is no evidence of reform or hunger. But actually, people are falling into the trap. Wow, we're going to get Sancho. Yeah, that should have happened last year, and it's still not happened now. They're elongating that deal. Well, we're going to get a centre-back. Well, who's it going to be then? Who's the centre-back going to be? Because if we don't get Varane, and Real Madrid get Torres, and Ramos goes to PSG, and Koundé goes to Chelsea, who are we getting? Because Upamecano's gone, Konate's gone, Alaba's gone. Who are we getting as our centre-back? And you know as well as I do, if all those things happen, whoever the centre-back is, whether it's Ben Scheidt, Tyrone Mings, whoever, they are our 5th or 6th choice. And is this not the thing we've been talking about for so long? For so long, that if you're going to succeed with a coach like Solskjaer, you've got to give him his first choice signings. And if we're going to get a 4th or 5th signing again, then how are we supposed to close the gap on Manchester City? So I think there is potential that there is a political vehicle from the Glazers here, that they are benefiting from hype, but reality isn't there. So I worry about the centre-back situation. It could be encouraging. Ramos or Varane. Would you take Sergio Ramos at Manchester United? Ramos, Ronaldo and Sancho, 2-year bandage for the holes in the squad. It would be an amazing 2 years, though. My mate Doug is a prat, says Mike John. I've got to go with what I said about Ramos in January. If we sign him, I will back him, but I don't see what this is all about. Why bring Ramos to the Premier League? He's old, he's expensive. There's no future planning in it. We are apparently 3 years away from a title. Well, we won't win a title with Ramos then. So what are we bringing Ramos in for? What's he going to do? Look, he's way better than Lindelof. Of course, he's better, but I would question the reason for doing it. Although I'd be very excited about it. Look, Ramos is better than nothing. Ramos is better than Ben White. Ramos is better than Tyrone Mings. Ramos is better than Sven Botman. But the future planning would be confusing, considering United keep telling us we're on a progression journey. We're not there yet. Well, Ramos is a very short fix. He's like Cavani. if we don't, what's the point in Cavani if you want to be harsh? Very, very good player like Ramos, but Cavani's gone in a year. Are we winning the title next year then? No. So, but at least with Cavani, you've got Greenwood coming through, so he can work with him. Who's coming through for Ramos? Mengi's going to be on loan. Twansebi's off. So who's coming through? I would rather get Varane. It's mind-boggling that we still haven't finalised our targets, says Amy. If that was the case, we would be pursuing them actively. Sancho won't be surprised if we end up with another crap window. And I don't know whether you have observed, but Ramano has also mentioned Koundé specifically when about Manchester United centre-back target. So I think it is Koundé, says Nick. Look, I'll be very happy with Koundé, but I'm very nervous around Manchester United's transfer activity at the moment because I do think it's a little bit... we're being linked to good signings just to build positivity. I mean, look, to be honest with you, if I was the Glazers and, I wanted to manipulate United fans, I would elongate the Sancho deal like they are because it just keeps the hype going. I would allow the club to be linked to people like Varane, even though I'm not going to get it. And at the end of the window, I deliver anybody and people will just be grateful for it. Cheap imitations. And that's what we've seen time and time again, and I hope I'm going to be wrong on that. Forgive me for looking on the bright side. Maybe if all the centre-backs go to other clubs, we will be forced to get a CDM instead, which is more important, says Daniel Kirk. I don't want to see another season of Varane and Maguire, Daniel, to be honest. Future planning is already called into question by bringing in Cavani last year, says Mike John. Yeah, we seem to have changed. I mean, that's an interesting point. I don't want to dwell on it massively, Mike, but you are right. Ollie seemed to have this transfer policy of bringing in players for the future. It was about hungry players ready to take that next step. And if you did bring a Ramos in, or you did bring a Ronaldo in, suddenly that's out the window for short-term Galactico signings. And I do think United do need experience. I've said that before, but I don't know. I don't think United... if you want my prediction on this, Ramos is going to go to PSG, which means Varane's not going to go to PSG, so Varane will sign a new contract at Real Madrid. I think if Varane doesn't go to PSG, we are going to win that race. But if Ramos goes to PSG, I don't think PSG will get Varane, so I think he'll sign a new contract. That's what I think is going to happen. And if he signs a new contract, it pretty much gives us a free path to Torres or Koundé. So we'll still get a centre-back that's quality. Is it the quality required? We'll have to find out. I think the question marks are out over Torres or Koundé. I'd prefer Koundé. A lot of people would prefer Torres. But I'd take Torres and Koundé, one of those two, over the alternatives. So I think that we will end up with a centre-back and it will probably be one of those names. I think we will get Varane, Torres or Koundé. I hope we get one of those three. And I think we will do. What about Koulibaly? Says Arizona. Well, I mean, look, I was on I don't know whether you watched the watch-along last night for the Italy game, had Alex Goldberg on, who's does a Serie A podcast and he's a Chelsea fan, and he was saying about Koulibaly, yeah, he's probably available, but he's really dropped off in the last year. City don't want Ramos. I don't think Ramos will go to City. The wages will be huge. I don't think City. We need Locatelli. There's a lot of people talking about Locatelli. But you know what? Reality, I do like Locatelli. He will stay in Italy. He's a fantastic player. I loved his first goal yesterday. But he's also a box-to-box player. He's a centre midfielder basically. I mean, I saw a story this morning that Man United have made an offer of 35 million for Saul Niguez, and I just clicked away. That's ridiculously cheap. That can only be bollocks. But even with Saul Niguez, even with Locatelli, they are not the position that United want. We need a specialist centre defensive midfielder. You can't just grab Locatelli and say play CDM because you take away a lot of what he's good at. You can't just grab Saul Niguez and take it and say play CDM. You want a Michael Carrick. You want a Jorginho. You want an Alan. You want a player that's going to stand in front of the back four like a Declan Rice. Stand in front of the back four, take the ball off the back four, shield the back four and feed the attack. It's a very specialist role. And that's what United need. Mark, Dortmund, Akanji is seriously good player, plus Sancho at least three these for good sake, but I don't understand why Board has such good IQ. If you know, you know, says Gorav. Let's bring you some other news then. Maguire is apparently going to be fit for the Scotland game, which I think is quite interesting. It's not interesting from a Manchester United point of view, of course, but apparently he's back fit. I hope he is properly back fit, because my concern is that we've got a lot of players playing in this tournament and... They are, we've got a big season next year. And I think some of these players they want to play in this tournament, which I understand, but it could have a negative impact on United and our season. Why haven't we pushed for Ruben Neves? What a great teammate for Fernandes, says Apollo 30X. Well, he's not playing for Portugal either. I mean, look. Some of these signings are very difficult to do with the Euros on. I think you've got to have a little bit of patience in relation to that. But also, there doesn't seem to be enough planning from Manchester United. You know, we're working on a Jadon Sancho deal and he's at the Euros. So you're quite right. If you're working on a Sancho deal and he's at the Euros, why are we not working on a Neves deal? Why are we not working on a Rice deal? Why are we not working on a Zakaria deal? Why are we not working on a Basuma deal, who's not even at the Euros? So you're right, we could be working on other deals, but United just seem to be one-trick ponies. They go on one deal. Although there is stuff going on with Kieran Trippier, I must just dispel a myth, really. Some people seem to think that Kieran Trippier has got 1 year left on his contract. He hasn't. He's got 2. His contract expires in 2023. So this whole, we can hold Atletico Madrid to ransom. I mean, he's got 2 years left on his deal. I think to be fair, he's an England fullback who's just won the La Liga. United won him for 10 million. I've got to say, he probably is worth 20 million, but United apparently don't want to pay that. And I don't think we should be paying 20 million for a backup right back. So, back to the drawing board on that one. But he has got 2 years left on his deal, Trippier. I've got no interest in that Trippier deal unless it's a quick deal. I don't want to be spending weeks of the summer on a backup right back when we've got no midfield, and the centre-back issue is a problem as well. I do think that. From Simeone to Ollie, says Anibus. Hi, Mark. What do you think of Sven Botman, says Kim? I think he's a good player. But I think he's the sort of player that if you bought him, he'd sit on the bench like Twan Sebi whilst Ollie picks Maguire and Lindelof. I want to buy a centre-back that I know starts as a centre-back. And if you buy Varane and Ollie picks Lindelof and Maguire and benches Varane, Ollie's sacked. So, I want Manchester United to buy a centre-back that goes straight into that team. I personally, and you're going to be different to me, I can't get excited about another Donny van de Beek signing, which, I think Botman's exciting. I thought Van de Beek was exciting, and then he didn't get used. And I think Ollie has shown that you give him a Sven Botman, you give him a Donny van de Beek. As much as it excites all of us lot, he has shown, same with Diallo, he won't use those players. He'll stick with what he knows. But if you buy him a top quality player, he has to use them. Any news on our outgoing players, says Thomas Russell? Nothing at the moment in relation to outgoing players. I mean, interestingly, Memphis Depay has gone to Barcelona. Remember, Manchester United did have first refusal on that. So at some point, United will have been offered Memphis Depay. And Memphis Depay may well have said, I'm not going back to Old Trafford, but I'm pretty sure Man United would have said we don't want him either. Woodward's new job at McDonald's farm as the CEO, says Mustang 27B. And what other options are available for backup right back in the market if we do not get Trippier, says CA? Well, United, this is not my job and it's not your job to know that. Manchester United need to look at other things as well. Don't need trips. We have Delo coming back, don't we, says Dylan. Yeah, but Ollie does not like him. Apparently Memphis Depay was free, but Manchester United could have made a move if they wanted to, and the reality is we didn't want him. So you can go on about him being free, but United didn't want him, and I wouldn't want him either. Crazy how Coca-Cola's stock decreased by 4 billion after Ronaldo moved it from the press conference. Imagine the United shirt sales, Glazer's wet dream, says Josh Band. Well, yeah, nothing on Ronaldo to bring you this morning, but I think Cristiano Ronaldo would be a signing that definitely improves United's chances of making a lot of money, which, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, he's massively marketable. And I think United, I just think we're in for a ridiculously interesting, but maybe not satisfying, but maybe amazing transfer window. And not just in relation to United, but obviously speaking it from a United point of view. Ronaldo's going to move. What's happening with Pogba? What's happening with our goalkeepers? What's happening with Lingard? Are we buying a midfielder? Who's the centre-back going to be? When's the Sancho deal going to get done? There is so many things that need to happen before we kick a ball again next season. And some of those things I think will be disappointing, but some of them could be amazing. And I think that, I do understand that the Euros are on. I'm bloody watching most of them. I do understand that the Euros are on, and that will delay things, but July could just be massive. 20 million is now for good backup. Have you seen City's squad, says Duncan? Yeah, but 20 million for Manchester United. Look, I agree with you, Duncan, but we do need to be realistic. Over the last few years, United's net spend has been 60 million. If your net spend 60 million... you can still spend 160 million, but you need to find 100 million in sales. Well, if you're going to spend 20 million on Trippier and you're going to spend 80 million on Sancho, that's 100 million pounds spent. So United need to sell somebody for 40 million straight away. Well, that might be one of the goalkeepers. So your net spend is 60. Where are you getting the rest of your money to spend? Because you've used your budget. Where are you going to get the rest of your money to spend money? Oh, we haven't got a centre back. We haven't got a CDM. We've just got Trippier and Sancho. We've sold a goalkeeper. So United need, if you want to spend, it's all right saying he's only 20 million, but you've got to be realistic to who owns our football club. I read something about the Glazers saying that, you know, the dividends and the debt doesn't stop them spending money. But this is the depth you need to understand as a United fan. We do spend money under the Glazers, but if they spend $1 billion, we could have spent $2 billion. Because the revenue at United, if it was in the hands of a debt-free club that wanted to be successful, we would spend double what the Glazers have spent. So the Glazers will always hide behind the fact that they've spent money. But no Man United fan is idiotic enough not to realise that the money they spent is proportionately 50% of what they could be spending, because they're taking money out, they don't want to spend it, they've got debt repayments. So the Glazers are full of shit, basically, because they always hide behind the fact that, oh, look at what we spent on Pogba, look at what we spent on Maguire. Yeah, you have spent money, well done. But we could spend a lot more. And that's not oil money, that's our money. Not oil, our money. That money comes from sponsors who want the eyes of United's fan base. It comes from fans who want tickets or shirts and things like that. So, yes, we do spend money under the Glazers, but we don't spend anywhere near as much as we would do if we were owned properly. So we are always going to be that club that, you know, you spend 20 million on Trippier, you probably just missed out on a central defensive midfielder. So 20 million may not be a lot of money for Man City, but it's a lot of money for United, because where are we going to recoup that 20 million to go and buy somebody else? I mean, look, 20 million is probably what we're going to get for Lingard if we sell Lingard, but then there's rumours we're not going to do that. So we've got to generate funds this summer. Can you sing the Edison Cavani song on? Says Josh Thomas. Well, I've got the Edison Cavani hoodie on. You can get yours through the pictures below the video if you want to get those. Paramajit says, sell Lingard, Jones, Dalot, Lindelof, James, Henderson, and actually buy some players. Well, I think 3 of those players, Paramajit, will be difficult to sell. Manu says we don't even need Trippier. We've got Dalot coming back from loan. The trouble with that is, and I know a lot of you are big fans of Dalot, Ollie's not a fan of Dalot. Remember last season when he could have played Dalot at left back, and I think he put Fosu Mensah there. Ollie's not a fan of Dalot. He's made that very, very clear. So I would move on from that. How long is Ramos's contract at Real? Says Cinder. He's out of contract. So that was always the big thing. He was trying to negotiate a stay at Madrid, and he's not been able to do it. I would imagine in his press conference at lunchtime, Ramos will say that he's, reluctantly leaving Real Madrid. He felt he was worth more than what they were offering, and he's leaving for that reason. I certainly don't think he's going to make it clear that he's left for any other reason than the fact that they've not got their they've not offered him what he wanted. Please do subscribe, by the way, like it says on the pinned content, bottom right-hand corner, and smash a like on the video. We actually are closing in on 60,000, so make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I did want to just bring in Paul Pogba at this point, because somebody says, why don't we just get Ramos and Varane? Well, I would like that to happen. If United pay for Sancho over 3 or 4 years, wouldn't we only pay 20 million of our summer transfer budget? I'm trying to be optimistic, says Imran. Yeah, but Imran, we're probably still paying off. If you want to go down that road, you are living on the fantasy world again, because, yeah, but a lot of deals are built like that. We still haven't been paid for Lukaku. So, if I go back to the Lukaku summer, that was when we bought Maguire. So we sold Lukaku for 70 million and we bought Harry Maguire for 80 million. So you could say our net spend was 10 million, but we haven't had all the payments from Lukaku. And I don't know whether we've paid everything to Leicester. So it's all right saying, well, we've got a massive budget because we're going to only pay 20 million for Sancho this year, next year. But there will be transfers that we've done 2-3 years ago that we're still paying off. So you're better off mentally wise, just imagining it as it actually is, 80 million spent, because there'll be money that we haven't had from sales, and there'll be money that we're still paying for signings. Dalot Pereira pays for Trippier, too competent, I know, says Duncan. And the Glazers live in Palm Beach, Florida. A protest where they can see it and it conveniences there might be an order. Glazers out, says Andrews. And will we end up 90% no transfers? Pratt, says Alan them. Look, I do think that United will end up I'm very, very confident, like anybody. I'm very, very confident that we're going to sign Jadon Sancho. I'm very, very confident that we will sign a centre-back. I just don't know who it will be. I've got no confidence that we're going to buy a midfielder. And this feeds lovely into Paul Pogba. We're talking about Varane with a year left on his contract. We talk about Lingard with a year left on his contract. And yet we've got Paul Pogba with 1 year left on his contract. To keep Paul Pogba at Manchester United is very easy. If you can get Varane to come to United, Pogba's going to go, oh, teammate, I like him. He's a top quality centre-back. If you can get Jadon Sancho at Manchester United, Paul Pogba's going to go, good signing. You know, another player that takes the pressure off me. Bruno's here. Now Sancho's here. I'm here. I'm going to get more freedom. I'm going to get more chance to express myself. But the biggest key to keeping Paul Pogba, yes, Varane's impressive. Yes, Sancho's impressive. But as Pogba hinted to a few days ago, he wants the freedom to express himself in that central position. There is only one signing that will allow Pogba to do that. Because Pogba as a left winger is a joke. Pogba as a number 10 is a joke. Pogba as a box-to-box midfielder with the ability to tackle, hit a 40-yard pass, but the licence to get into the box is what Pogba wants to do. It's what he's doing for France. So the most important signing to keeping Paul Pogba, and I'm sure you've all figured it out, but United don't seem to see it. United are desperate to keep Paul Pogba at this football club, but they seem inept in buying the player that will keep him at the club. We're linked to Sancho, we're linked to Varane, and they're big signings that Pogba will go, yeah, they're good signings, but Pogba wants to be able to get in the box. He loves playing in the midfield. He doesn't mind tracking back. He likes hitting the 40-yard breaking pass, because those are Beckham-esque. He wants to be involved, but what he doesn't want to do is be playing centre mid for United and playing in a defensive pivot where he has to just stand on the halfway line. So the CDM is the most important signing. It's the most important signing for me. It's probably the most important signing for you. But if you want Paul Pogba to stay at this football club, United have got to buy a specialist CDM. And then I think Pogba might look at it and go, I'm going to sign a new contract. Because, look, if United bought Sancho, Varane and a top quality CDM and Pogba stays, I tell you what, next season, Ollie in or Ollie out is bloody exciting. But if we don't buy a CDM and Pogba doesn't sign a contract, well, we've just screwed everything. Whether you've got Sancho or Varane or not, that midfield is dead. So for me, the centre defensive midfielder is so important, and it needs to be done quick. By all accounts, Paul Pogba has not made his mind up yet. In fact, by all accounts, Paul Pogba wants to leave. But he hasn't made his mind up about leaving yet because he's playing in the Euros. If I was in charge of United, I would have gone and bought a CDM priority number 1. Because if you get that CDM and on his downtime with the Euros, Pogba sees United have bought a CDM to free Paul Pogba, he might go, you know what? But is he going to sit there now and go, you know what, I might sign for United when he doesn't even know what we're doing in that midfield situation? Why would Pogba not want to join a bigger club than United like PSG or Madrid? Be honest, Mark, with the Glazers, we don't have a chance of winning anything, says Mark Friedman. And I agree with you, Mark. I do agree with you on that. And this is always going to be the problem that United fans have, is that we want to be the best team in the world. We want to win the league. We want to be competitive in the Champions League. We want to win the Champions League. That's what United fans want, and we should never change that desire. But our owners don't want that. They've never wanted that. They've never wanted it. We won things with the Glazers because we had the greatest sports manager there's ever been that could win a Premier League with Cleverley and Anderson in the midfield. That's how amazingly great Sir Alex Ferguson was. No other manager can succeed under this regime. They can't. Because they're not real. They're businessmen. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. I'm a United fan. Oh, it's just great being a United fan. Winning is what it's all about. We want to win. But you don't. Because you don't go and do what Chelsea or Man City would do. If Chelsea were in the situation United are in now, you know what they would do? They'd get Sancho, Varane and a top-class CDM. And they'd convince Pogba to stay. That's all they'd do. And we're ready to go. Man City would probably do the same. What are United doing? Well, we'll get Sancho done when we can. Well, let's see what's left at the centre-back situation. Don't worry about the midfield. Let's see if we can con Pogba into staying with a big offer. That's business. That's not football. We need new owners. We need new owners at that football club. Now, when I say new owners, that can either be brand new owners or that can be the Glazers change what they've done for 16 years. I mean, somebody sent me a picture today of them jet washing Old Trafford at the top to give it a clean. It doesn't need a clean. It needs fixing. It's like United. We don't need a new kit with TeamViewer on it. We need new players in it. Papering the cracks FC. That's been a statement for a long time. Let's see what happens with this transfer window. I think the Ramos and Varane thing, the Ramosifications of that are huge. Varane will leave Real Madrid if Madrid do not make him a massive offer, which they may well do. Ramos is leaving Real Madrid. This will have big implications on what happens, because if Ramos and Varane leave, or even if Ramos does leave, they'll still... I mean, here's a bad situation for you. Ramos goes to PSG, Varane stays at Real Madrid, but to replace Ramos, they get Torres or Koundé, which leaves us with one shot at who's left, Ramos or Koundé or Torres. So the centre-back situation is really interesting at Manchester United. The Ramosifications of it are huge. Can I just say as well, I had forgotten to say it at the start of the video, we are doing United Stand Picks again today. Links in the video description. If you've downloaded United Stand Picks, you may as well play it. Today's game that they are doing it for is Denmark against Belgium. Remember, it's free to play. There is another cash prize pool to be won. There are 12 questions to do with the game, like will Belgium beat Denmark? Will Belgium score in the first half? Will Romelu Lukaku score? Questions like that. 12 questions. You get points for every question you get right, and the people at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the game, and there is a live leaderboard you can check during the game, win the cash prize pool. You've got to be over 18 because we're giving away cash prizes. A link is in the video description. If you've downloaded it already, because we were doing this during the Premier League season, if you've downloaded it already, you may as well play it because it's free to play. If you've not downloaded it and played it before, links in the video description, free to play. You've got to be over 18 and all the terms and conditions are in there. So make sure you give that a go. But it's only for we're just doing one game a day. So we're doing the Denmark-Belgium game today, which I'm torn on because actually I would love Denmark to win after what's happened with Christian Eriksen. I saw something today that he's going to get, is it like a pacemaker or something like that put in? So I don't know whether that means he can play football again. But Belgium, Denmark today. I think I am probably Team Denmark because I thought they were such a poor, horrible position to be in at the weekend with Christian Eriksen, and that must have affected them. Nemanja Matic has completed his UEFA B licence, says the United Journal, which is interesting. Does that mean we're going to give him a coaching job? Jobs for the boys? Matici. I can't. I'm too scared to let you go. So Kadiki is going to be you can be Kadiki's coach. Go and get some. You can stay for another year if you can put the cones out. We need to buy Neves today. It's so sad that this club don't care. With this board, manager and coaches, we will never win. Worthy of our history, says Edward Walters. On a serious point, though, how thick would it be for Manchester United to keep Juan Mata and Nemanja Matic? And look, forget the individuals. I think at times Matic has been good, and I think at times Mata has been excellent over his time at Manchester United. But have you watched Mata or Matic in the last year and gone, that's a player that could play 10 games in a row? I don't think they could play 10 minutes in a row. They're dusted. They're so dusted. They're so old for this league now. They just can't impact on it. So why would we be giving Mata and Matic? And they're both on good money as well. If you combine their wages, £250,000 a week. And we're going to give players that aren't fit enough to play in the Premier League at this level anymore. We're going to keep them because they're good in the dressing room. If we had coaches that were good in the dressing room, we wouldn't need to have players that don't play who are good in the dressing room. Do you think Tielemans would be a good signing, says Eakin? I mean, how many voices do you want in the dressing room? Bruno's a leader. Maguire's a leader. Luke Shaw's apparently a leader. Pogba's a leader. You know, apparently Rashford's quite vocal as well. Then you've got Kariki, Ollie, Mike Phelan. You know, how many more leaders do we need in that dressing room to pay 150 grand a week to them? Move them on! Move them on. Get some bloody balls and move them on. We should be sponsored by Manscaped. Shave it and have a look. We just need to clear some space. David De Gea's a leader as well. We need to clear some... Cavani's a leader as well. We don't need these bloody players that aren't good enough anymore. Aguero was a leader for Man City. He's gone. Bye-bye. You're not good enough anymore. Get him out. It's a joke. Look, you know what? I'm not interested in mates rates in football. I'm not interested in it. I used to manage a team. A couple of the lads were my mates. I didn't used to pick them because they weren't good enough. I used to pick lads I didn't really get on that well with because they were better than my mates. Because it's ruthless. You've got to. I want to win. I'm not going to go for that. I'm not going for a pint after the game with the striker. I can't stand him. But my mate's on the bench because that striker's better than him. That's what being ruthless is all about in football. That's about winning. Seems to me like Ollie picks his mates. Oh, stay at the club. You know, mates rates. Get rid of them. It's a joke that they're going to extend Lingard. We are giving players contracts that don't play or make the squad better, stops, says Seb Watson. I mean, Seb, to me, if we give Lingard a contract and we keep Mata and Matic, that to me just says why this club will always fail. That's 3 players there that aren't first teamers, that will take up bench spots, which will stop young players coming through or new signings coming in. And that's why we fail. I have a feeling Pogba will sign a new deal if we get a competent CDM and a centre-back, because suddenly our team becomes very, very good. Amy, I agree. I think it's that achievable if we do that. I really do. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the video. Get a go on United Stand Picks if you've downloaded it. Today's game we're doing is Belgium-Russia, so you can play that. There's a live leaderboard while you're watching it as well. Links in the video description. You must be over 18 because we are giving away cash prizes if you haven't played it before. Terms and conditions are in the video description, but you can download it there as well. United Stand Picks for the Belgium versus Denmark game. Another cash prize pot you can win. Thanks everyone for watching. There will be a show at 7 o'clock definitely tonight on here as usual, updating you. But obviously if anything breaks like it did yesterday, we'll probably have an afternoon show as well. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.